Hi, teacher. I am Pavel.
Hi, teacher.
She's Jessie. I'm la vaquerita. And I'm going to continue the reading of the last video. Well, um, Mr. Dudley always sat with his back to the window in his office on on the ninth floor. If he hadn't, he might have found it harder to concentrate on drills that morning. He didn't see the owls swoop, swooping past in broad daylight. Saw people down in the street did. They pointed and gazed open-mouthed as all spent overhead. Most of them had never seen an owl even at night time. Mr. Dudley, however, had a perfectly normal, all-free morning. He yelled at 5 different people. He made several important telephone calls and issued a bit more. He was in a very good mood until lunchtime, when he thought he had stretched his legs and walked across the road to buy himself a, a bun from the bakery. He'd forgotten all about the people in clocks until he passed a group of them next to the bakers. He ate them angrily as he passed. He didn't know why, but they made him uneasy. This bunch were whispering excitedly too, and he couldn't see a single collecting thing. It was on his way back past them, clutching a large dog nut in a bag, that he caught a few words of what they were saying. The Potters, that's night, that's what I heard just. Their son, Harry. Mr. Dudley stopped dead. Fear flooded him. He looked back at the whisperers as if he wanted to say something to them, but thought better of it. He dashed back across the road, hurried up to his office, snapped at his secretary not to disturb him, seized his telephone, and had almost finished dialing his home number when he changed his mind. He put the receiver back down and stroked his mustache, thinking, no, he was being stupid. Potter wasn't such an unusual name. He was sure there were lots of people called Potter who had a son called Harry. Come to think of it, he wasn't even sure his nephew was called Harry. He had never even seen the boy. It might have been Harvey or Harold. There was no point in worrying Mr. Dudley. She always got so upset at any mention of her sister. He didn't blame her if he had had a sister like that. But all the same, those people in cloaks. He found it a lot harder to concentrate on drills that afternoon, and when he left the building at 5 o'clock, he was still so worried that he walked straight into someone just outside the door. Sorry, he groaned, as the tiny old man stumbled and almost fell. It was a few seconds before Mr. Dudley realized that the man was wearing a violet cloak. He didn't seem at all upset at being almost knocked to the ground. On the contrary, his face split into a wide smile, and he said in a squeaky voice that made his persevering stir, "Don't be sorry, my dear sir, for nothing could upset me today. Rejoice, for you know who has gone at last. Even muggles like yourself should be celebrating this happy day."
¿Qué? name is Carlos, and I want to talk about the reading about my partner puppet. Well, he said that Mr. Darcy always had sit with his back on the window on his office on the ninth floor. If he hadn't, he might found it harder to concentrate on the drills that morning. He hadn't seen the owls swooping past in broad daylight, though people down in the street hadn't. They pointed and gazed open-mouthed as owl after owl spread overhead. Most of them had never seen an owl, even at night. Mr. Dudley, however, had had a perfectly normal, all-free morning. He had yelled at 5 different people. He had made several important telephone calls and shouted a bit more. He had been in a very good mood until lunchtime. Uh, when he thought he'd stretch his leg and walk across the road, but got himself pulled from bakery. He would forgotten all about the people in cloaks until he passed a group of them next to the bikers. He had eyed them angrily as he passed. He hadn't known why, but they made him uneasy. That bunch were whispering excitedly, too, and he could see a single collecting thing. It has been on his way back past them, clutching a large doughnut in a bag, and they caught a few words of what they were saying. Uh, he said, "The porters, that's right, that's what I hear. Yes, their son Harry." Mr. Dudley had stopped dead, fear flooding him. He looked He had looked back at the whispers, and if he wanted to say something to them, but thought better of it, he had dashed back across the road, hurried to his office, snapped at the secretary not to disturb him, seized his telephone, and had almost finished dialing his home number when he changed his mind. He put the receipt back down and stroked his mustache, thinking, no, he had been being stupid. Potter wasn't such a unusual name. He was sure there were lots of people called Porter who had a son called Harry. Come to think of it, he had been not even sure his newfound nephew was called Harry. There had been no point in mornings, Mr. Dursley. She always had got so upset at any mention of her sister. He hadn't blamed her, and if he had a sister like that, but all the same, those people thinks in clocks. Uh, he found a lot of harder to concentrate on the drills that afternoon, and when he left the building at 5 o'clock, he had been still so worried that he walked straight into someone just outside the door. Sorry, he hungry. and tiny old man stumbled almost fell it.
Uh, Hi Carlos, what do you think that about the reading?
Well, I think Mr. Dudley was nervous because the facts in the morning, like the cat and the owls in his neighborhood.
Yes.
Well, uh, after that, he had a normal morning. Uh, his office is on the ninth floor, and he always sit back at the window, so he couldn't see the owls flying in the sky. The people out there uh, did uh, they see the owls at morning and was very surprised because someone uh, never seen the owls at day.
Yes, it was a strange um, animal, strange animal in this place. No, is
Yes,
no.
and they only get out at night, but they have a lot of owls at daylight. Yes, so it's very strange.
Yes. Well, after I remember that um, the the Mr. Dursley,
Mr. Dudley.
he he went out to buy a big donut, and on the street he found a lot of people that he was using a strange uh,
Clothes.
clothes. Yes, he 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 was very confused because no, he he don't know he don't know what what was happened, and just suddenly he found or he saw a strange person that an old man.
Yes.
That this man hugged to Mr. Dudley, and Mr. Dudley was very confused.
Yes. Well, when he get out to the bakery, he could saw a group of people with strange clothes. And when he get out of the bakery, he heard talk someone that people, and he heard that um, he referred to the porters, and his son called it Harry, and he worried up because he relation that the words they say with his relatives, the sister of his wife, and
Mr. Spetunia.
Mr. Dudley. Uh, he think he referred to the porters, and he 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 was worried about that. He arrived to his office and want to call his wife to say it what he heard, but he thinks the information and decide not to call to his wife because he hurry about that, and he just decide not to do. Yes. Well, if we, well, when I like this reading is was very interesting.
Yes, me too.
Um, well, that's all.
That's all. Bye.